Welcome back to Schmattz Outdoors, everyone. This video that you guys are about to see is going to be another compilation video of all my skunk catches for the year. It's interesting for me to look back one year to the next and the amount of catches and when I'm catching some of these animals in the same spots year over year. For example, the one abandoned farm place there, you know, I had, I think, eight skunks caught around the building site last year, and I don't know, 10 or 11 again this year, you know, in some of the same sets, but I had a few new sets there that also made catches this year. So I had that 160 next to the end of that granary there. And the interesting thing is I had a dog proof that was like 3 feet away, never made a catch there. So, you know, that is all the more proof that, you know, you throw in as many different sets as you can, baited sets, blind sets, all that stuff, because sometimes they just don't want a baited set. I think they're eating grain underneath that granary, so they're not interested in being baited right there. So anyway, so this is going to be a compilation of all those catches. The clips might start and end abruptly, and I apologize for that, but again, I do a fair amount of talking out on the line and that type of stuff. I'm leaving in all the, you know, set locations, why they're there, some of that information, you know, the catches obviously, but again, some of the other stuff that was happening that day that I talk about in my clips, you guys don't need to watch it again if you guys have watched my Out on the Line series. So I think that's all I got for you guys. Enjoy the video. Well, maybe another catch isn't what I want to be catching. Here, I'll turn you this way. I'm in this abandoned yard. If you guys watched my videos last year, you know, I was catching skunks up there and then on the other side of this building here. So I got sets up by the house. I still haven't checked. Right here, there's a building behind this corner of the building. I got a set I haven't checked, but there's a trail. Goes right here and then kind of out and then it heads over towards the house. But I mean, it looked very well used. And I put a 160 right there in front of it. And bingo bango, we got ourselves a skunk. Let's just take a walk. So like I said, I have a set behind that building. I'm not going to walk over there right now, but over here, I put almost the same sets as I had last year. I didn't even stop. I figured I was going to check these as I was leaving. Yeah, we got at least one skunk over here. I could smell skunk as soon as I pulled up, so. So the trail is just a little bit different. Last year it was going on that side of the bush. This year it's going on this side of the bush. So I couldn't get my H stand in there. So I got it kind of propped up the best I can, but I got a giant, well furred skunk there. That thing's got awesome stripes on there. That may be, and then there's a grasshopper right here, right there, there's a grasshopper. He's right there. Nice head catch on that guy. That's a big skunk. And then over here I have a double box. So I got a 220 on each side, and right there is a skunk too. So we got at least 3 here. Not gonna get any closer. I'm not sure which one of these two smells, but one or the other does. So I ended up catching 7 skunks out of this yard last year. And then I caught one more back in one of my coyote sets back there. So I caught 8 skunks here. My hope was that catching 8 of them out of here was hopefully the whole family, but that was not the case apparently, because got 3 on the first check, and like I said, I still got one more set to check here. So show you what I got going on here. So there's a block of woods here. The farmer's got this drainage ditch that runs all the way over to by, there's 2 kind of groves of trees, but there's actually a 160 acres, a quarter of land over here that's all wildlife, and this ditch just kind of weaves its way there. So what I do, I got a set right here. We'll get a little closer in a minute here, but I use a fairly skunky bait with my wind. You know, the wind right now is blowing like right here. I normally have it down there. I'm not sure why I ended up moving it or why I put it here this year instead of over that way a little. Other than I can see right here a little bit better from the road over here where my truck is. So down this, where this tree is, there's a fence line runs down there by that block of woods. I have a couple coyote sets down there that don't have nothing in it. But then I can get to like right over here on the road and I can see this set to see if I got anything caught. And today I have a giant skunk back foot caught in my coyote set. And he dug himself a nice little pile. And I actually, when I first seen him, I'm like, oh no, did I get a badger already? You know, first day of the season, but I did not. He is acting like a badger, but he is not. Like I said, well, I'm trying to stay so the wind is blowing like this right now, so I don't want to get directly upwind of him because then they get real standoffish. I could actually see his tail hair fluffing in the wind from up there on the road. I'm like, what is that, like the back of a coyote laying there, or what is that? And then I actually drove up. So this road goes down and then turns right up here, kind of just past this lighter grass is the road, and then it goes over this way and then goes back that way. It's just a little true track so they can get to these farm fields. So, but yeah, this is big and fat the way it looks. Gonna take me a minute to get the dirt even leveled off for him, but he seems to be pretty chill. There, he's lifting his tail. That lifting the tail, that's the key. So he's right here. Yeah, unfortunately, backfoot caught skunks, they can be a hassle to get them dispatched. They will dig like this. You know, he's got a pretty good trench dug. He didn't dig as much on this side because it's actually in the grass. So again, my scent is blowing kind of at an angle. So to any animal that's running through here, like it actually almost looks like a trail right down the bottom of this thing. Well, my scent for my set is blowing right across this whole thing. So if they're running on this side, my dirt hole is right in front of them. If they're over there anywhere, even if they're coming from over there, my scent is kind of blowing down this ditch to bring the coyotes to me. So, all right. Well, this guy is digging again. So we'll try and get him dispatched. So this is the 4th skunk, 5 raccoons today. Because I do have a catch back here. If you know anything about my trap line and what I was just pointing with, you should have an idea. One thing too, so this little drainage, it splits. It goes that way, and then it kind of goes up over this way. I couldn't see my set if I would have put it right there. So I went up here, and this is where I normally have it. And actually, while I was remaking this set yesterday, I actually found 2 cable stakes still in the ground right here. But I already had found, you know, that was when I was remaking it yesterday. So, but as you could see, I hope you could see, yeah, right here, there is a skunk caught in my dog proof. So again, right in the bottom of this washout, so it kind of goes right past him here. The main washout goes that way and then up to the culvert. And there is a little bit of one kind of goes this way. So what I did is I sprayed fish oil up here onto the bank and then kind of over this way and then up and down the thing. Doesn't look like a huge skunk, but looks like he's got pretty decent stripes. He's not too much on edge yet. So we're on check day 2, and I am making this statement, it is just gonna be one of those years. All right, so we're back by this barn again. Again, there's a couple steel bins left in this yard. I got a couple coyote sets over here by these cottonwood trees. And then over here on the far line, fence line, I had a raccoon caught in a coyote set yesterday. In this set right here, I had a raccoon caught, and I think I mentioned that there's not the trails, other than there is one little faint trail going up into the corner of this building here. But otherwise, the trails going in and out of this building, just, it didn't seem like there was much for trails, but we got ourselves the second stinker in the morning, and I'm literally at the next stop after I took care of the last one. So yeah, so in a spot I actually really had very, very low hopes. Oh boy. In case you were wondering, that's the loaded end right there that he was just aiming at me. He didn't spray at me or nothing, and the wind is blowing like this right now, so that's why I walked past him a little bit to get so I wasn't directly upwind of him. But I don't like that he's aiming the business end at me. But yeah, we got a pretty good sized skunk here. He's got pretty orangey stripes though, the way it looks, compared to, you know, like that one bigger one I had yesterday that had the best stripes, had the orangiest colored stripes. So he's got pretty good stripes on him. He's a good sized skunk, bigger than the last one. So yeah, I wish I could get you a little better, but I don't. This one could be interesting getting him dispatched just the way he's acting. So yeah, he's got the loaded end. He's standing on guard. But did a skunk come by here and get the Z-cap out and steal a little of the bait and then leave, you know, or whatever? And the reason why I say that, because right over here, I have a 160 blocking this hole. The first day I had a skunk in there, and I got a skunk in there again today. Oh, a darn good sized one, and he's got beautiful stripes on him. So beautiful skunk out in 160 right there. I can't really smell that he sprayed or nothing, which is awesome. Okay, so we'll come back and get him out of there. I put on them, so I'm walking like this because I don't want to shine you into the sun. I put on food service gloves, and then I throw the skunk in a grocery bag. So I'll come back over and reset that when I got gloves in a bag. And then we're over here by the house. So we're just gonna throw the pail. So I did bring my pail on in case I did need to add some bait to some of those sets. So we're by the house here. Again, the trail kind of comes up right here. I had a real big skunk caught in this trap here, the first check. And then over here, I have a double box with 220s in there, each end of it, and bait in the middle of it. And as you can see, we got ourselves, oh boy, he's not dead. We got ourselves a skunk right here in a 220 right next to my box, but his tail just went up when I walked in there. So we're going to step back from him. We'll have to get, he looks like he's caught like sideways. So his body's like this, but the trap is like squeezed up and down on him and not, you know, it should squish from the top and bottom, but it looks like it's squishing in from the sides. So, but I am on to the next spot. So I've showed this each of the last, this will be the third morning in a row. So I have one raccoon sets right here, one right here. I don't want to walk my camera down there because I'm going to be in close quarters with him right away. But right here, there is a skunk. I had a raccoon caught in that same set yesterday. So the first check, these are the two traps that were like tipped over and been messed with. But really, there wasn't like an actual animal catch circle. There was just like the leaves were rustled around my trap like something was playing with them. The next check, I had a skunk down there. Yesterday a skunk here, and now a raccoon here, and then now today a skunk. Looks like a pretty little guy. He's got pretty nice white stripes. Again, I don't want to get too close to him. I don't want to fall off this culvert here either. So yeah, so he's right here in my dog proof. Like I said, I don't want to go down there with my camera because like I said, I got to walk like down the steep bank and then right to about here to get to him. So I'm within spraying range by the time I get down there. So as you can see, I'm in the yard here where I've been catching all the skunks. Z-cap was knocked off by this trap. The one over here was still working. I noticed when I drove by, we got ourselves a stinker over here in my double 220 box right here. So I've been catching them in this end. I've caught 2 on this end, now I got 1 on that end. Doesn't look like a very big skunk, and he kind of smells, so I'm guessing he sprayed. He's suitcase caught right behind the head and then mid-body in the 220s. So I think they're going underneath the corner of this porch, right underneath in here, back in there. And then they're going underneath the old deck, I guess, is what that is. So we'll come back over and take care of him. But over this way. So again, I don't know if I showed this. So we got a granary, a steel bin, and a granary. House behind me. This was an old barn that collapsed probably 10 years ago now. And then this, I think, is a granary or a chicken coop. I'm not even sure what it originally was. I think at the end they were storing grain in there. I'm literally to the next sets. I'm back behind that grove, so right up here's the grove where I just had the skunk and the raccoon caught. I was thinking about, well, I was taking care of those 2. I've gotten 6 skunks and a raccoon out of the yard. And then I got 2 coyote sets here. I had a raccoon caught here, or maybe even the first check. Maybe yesterday, day before, I had a raccoon caught in that set. And today I got a giant stinker back foot caught in my coyote set. I'm directly downwind of him, which I don't like. He's been on edge ever since I pulled up, so this could be very interesting getting him dispatched. See, there you go. He is up on arms. So the skunk is right here. Sorry about the aiming the wrong way, but yeah, I'm watching the skunk and not you guys. So yeah, big skunk again. That was a pipe dream set. Like I said, they mowed the edge of this, so I wasn't sure if the animals are going to be running like out on the edge of the bean field, or if they'd run like right on the edge of this kind of taller strip of grass here, you know, where they mowed part of it, but it didn't mow as short and as nice as this. So I put the pipe dream set on the edge of the grass, and I put that dirt hole set on the edge of the field. So again, a raccoon and a skunk. So that makes 7 skunks out of this location. Last year I had 8 here. I mean, it's a money-making spot, but not for all the wrong reasons. So, yeah, 3 raccoons and 7 skunks now, and 5 checks out of this that yard in these 2 sets. So, I guess you take the animals when you can get them, but I prefer to see, you know, coyotes, fox. You know, you even take a badger, honestly, in these sets over skunks and raccoons, but skunks and raccoons belong up in the sets up in the yard. These are more canine sets, but, you know, you gotta take what you catch, so. And I'm checking a couple coyote sets here again, and bingo. We got a skunk in my coyote set. Again, I got a slough kind of goes around. This is looking towards the north. And then over here, they got a bean field they haven't picked. It's like the last bean field in the country. I had a coyote or a raccoon in this set, and I had a pullout in this one about 3 days ago. But yeah, today we got ourselves a skunk. He's got pretty decent stripes on him. I don't know how close we're gonna get here. Dealing with a skunk out in the wide open is an interesting feat anyway, so. But yeah, so we got ourselves a skunk in my flat set over here. This one's a dirt hole, and I can see my trap has been monkeyed with. You know, that's not supposed to happen. But we'll get that one fixed up, and we'll get this guy out of my set. I'm not so sure. I almost think I got him caught by both of his front legs. I'm not 100% sure what's going on there, but not the biggest skunk, but he's got beautiful stripes the way it looks. So I think, what is that, 3rd skunk of the day? Something like that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why all these guys are plugging up my coyote sets, but they are. We'll deal with them either way, whether they're caught in a coyote set or they're caught in something else. Either way, I still got to take care of them. So, and right there is the skunk. What I have here, there's a big block of woods, you know, goes honestly for miles. It runs a half mile down to the highway down here. Going this way, I have a fence line, and off the end of that, there's a drainage ditch out there. I had a skunk caught, I think like the first check or one of the first checks. They all blend together once you get going. What I have is two coyote sets along here. I think it would help me if they had worked this field, but I don't think they're going to. I mean, he's got his tail up, but he's not real standoffish yet. So luckily front leg caught this time. The last couple I've caught by the back leg, which makes them a lot more interesting to get them dispatched. So yeah, not the biggest skunk in the world either, but we'll take him. Again, if anything, I only feel like this makes this set better. So we'll get him out of here and we'll get moved on. So there's like a woven mesh wire fence here all the way until you get to right by this guy. You just got to be careful with him. So right here, I'm pretty sure right here you can see there's a hole in the fence, and there's actually another one right here where it looks like the critters are coming through. So got myself a skunk and not a raccoon like the landowner thought, but it doesn't mean there isn't raccoons here too. So this guy looks like a little bit muddy, but we'll get him out of there. Again, and a dog proof is better than a coyote set, and I darn near put a coyote set over here by the drainage ditch. It's dry, so I could put it there, but thought, well, we're gonna leave dog proofs for a few days and see if I can't thin out a few of these nuisance animals first. So got one out of there. Decent sized skunk, looks like he's got decent stripes on him, fairly white stripes other than they're muddy. So all right, we're literally to the next two sets here. I just wanted to film a little bit before I go down in there so you guys can see what's going on. So I just had that skunk right up by this grove, and then that big ditch comes running through, and then it crosses under the road here. There's the big culvert right here. But I wanted to film, you guys can see that trail right there. This is the 6th check, and I have not had anything messed with. So I got a dog proof, and then right here I have a 160 on that trail. And I cannot believe it's taken me 6 checks to get an animal caught here. Nice thing is he's stinker caught in a 160. Other than he may have sprayed, I can't smell him because I'm upwind. But yeah, so we just got a culvert right here. Like I said, I mean, literally, you can't ask for a better trail than that. So again, I got a dog proof. I mean, can't get that anymore in the middle of that trail. And I purposely put it kind of between some grass so it's hard for him to even go around it. But yeah, then up here, good sized skunk caught in a 160. Surprised he even tried to push his head through that thing. I thought about trying to get it like up in here, but right here this grass was leaning over, and then this grass here was kind of blocking it down. I don't think that skunk moved too far. I can't smell him that he sprayed, but he's got orange stripes on him, man. All the way, like even his head is all orange and everything. He's wet, like he's, you know, obviously got rained on last night. So but yeah, like I said, just a trail coming through a culvert, goes right down the bottom of this ditch. Like I said, you can hardly buy a better set than this thing. Just a blind trail set with a 160 in front of it, so, or 160 blocking it. Again, 6 checks it before I finally caught one. I just don't understand. But anyway, we'll go over what we got. We got a abandoned yard here, the old house that the pigeons are flying out of. I got a double 220 box over there. There is just not sign here this year like there is some years. Some years this place is good for, like, you know, 2 or 3 raccoons and a skunk or 2, you know, sometimes even 4 or 5 skunks. But yeah, last year, I don't even know if I made a catch in this yard, but I did make one today. So what we got, Oh, and then we got a granary over here. I have a dog proof over by the back corner of that. And then this is an old chicken coop. And you could see right here, it looks like something's been going in and out of the corner of this, you know, for years. So I got a dog proof kind of blocking that. And then in the back here, right here, try to get, I don't want to get terribly close here. So I'm going to point right here. There's always been kind of a trail coming out of there. And I've caught a bunch of animals there in the past with just a 1.5, kind of half buried with the chaff from inside the building. And today we got ourselves a skunk in there. He seems pretty chill right at the moment. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see him, but he's right here. You can see his white stripes. So again, he's caught just in a 1.5 there, just kind of a blind set. We'll see if I can get him dispatched and get him out of there. I may have to go inside that building in order to get him dispatched, which could be interesting too, but all right. Doesn't look like the biggest skunk in the world, but it's a skunk nonetheless. So like I said, we'll get him out of here. Like I said, it's just a pretty simple set, just a blind set right where they're going in and out of the back of that building. Can't get much simpler than that. Easy to reset. I'll take sets like this. They don't mess up a dog proof, and he didn't mess up my coyote set, more importantly. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, things are about to get western. I made it home. I got all my traps checked except for 2 here, which I haven't even been counting because they've been set for like 2 weeks with nothing. I figured it was just, I caught 1 possum in my barn, and I figured that was it because nothing's messed with my traps. But today I do not have a possum in my barn. So right here I got a live trap, and if you could tell what that white stripe means, that is a skunk. And he is right next to my hay that I have sold to someone else. I was lucky enough, I slowly slid this door open. I don't think he sprayed. I can't smell anything yet. So I need to try, I think, and get him drug out of there because my dispatch pole will not go through the cage wires. He's showing me the business end now. I don't know. I think there's a falsity that people think that skunks won't spray inside of a trap like that, even those round tube traps. They can, they just prefer not to, and at least in a tube trap, they can't get it on you. So, yeah, I don't know. My going on plan is I'm using my backup stake driver, and I'm hoping I could hook the top of that on the front end of my trap. So the front end's this way, and the door is solid. Luckily, this is a homemade live trap that I made. They work very well, but the door is solid. So I'm hoping I can catch the front and drag it out here someplace to try and get him dispatched without him spraying all over me. That's the plan. The dumb thing is like 2 days ago, I was thinking about picking these traps up because like I said, I caught the possum like 2 days after I set them using a chunk of mouse poison, the big bars that you can run a wire through. I had that hanging in here behind my pedal, and I caught the possum like 2 days after setting them. And again, they've been sitting here like 2 weeks, if not longer than that. Nothing's messed with them, so I thought, well, we should just pick them up and get them out of the way because the guy wants to come and get his hay anyway. It's a good thing he didn't come today because he would have had a heck of a surprise had he opened the door here. So, all right, yeah, so I didn't pick him up when I should have or when I was planning on. I mean, I'm glad to have the skunk off of our farm here. He obviously was going in my barn. He was inside the barn to catch him. The bottom part of this door, the board just fell off here. You could see this chunk. So that's why I moved my trap thinking, well, if the animals are coming and going using that hole, we'll catch him. But I'm thinking maybe if I reset the trap, it's going to be on the outside of my barn, like right in this area. But all right, I got my feed bag right here. I'm going to go in the side of my barn over here and circle around him and see if I can use the door to block him. Well, he sprayed already. Well, I got him out of the barn. He sprayed my bag at least a couple times. I heard it spray onto the bag, but I got him out of there. All right, everyone, we're making catches again today. So I'm in this, sorry about that. I'm in this kind of abandoned farmyard here. I got a chicken coop, granary. I'm not even sure what this building is. The old house over here. Yesterday I had a skunk caught in the back of this chicken coop and just a blind set. And I come today and it looks like my set's all disturbed, and sure enough, let's see, I can't see him from in here. So my set was right in here, basically where there's a kind of a trail always goes into the back of this old chicken coop here. There's also a hole here, and I got that kind of blocked with a dog proof. But I got myself another skunk in here today. Again, I mean, if I can get him dispatched without spraying, it's awesome, but kind of sucks inside of a building. So let's see, we're gonna try and get in here and be quiet, because I can see him way in here. All right, so there is a skunk. He's laying right there. Again, he's just caught in 1.5. Just set up a 1.5 double jawed. I didn't mention that yesterday. So when I'm using a set like this, I like to have a double jawed trap. But yeah, got ourselves a skunk in here. Like I said, we're gonna have to be pretty careful. I don't want to get too close to him, and I don't want to talk too loud here. I'm hoping he'll stay right where he is so I can get him dispatched right there. Because if they can go in and out of that building, so that could be, gets to be a little rodeo, because I'm in, he's out, I go out, he comes back in. So this could be a bad sign for today, but yes and no. All right, we got another catch here. I'm only just a couple sets down the road. We have this big drainage ditch. They're actually working on finally getting this cornfield combined, and then this big drainage just keeps flowing up past like where these trees are at. Opening day, or the first check, I had a raccoon over there and one over here. A couple days ago I had a big raccoon that was hiding underneath this culvert. But I could see that that set has been monkeyed with. So that set's over there, but my set's knocked over. My golf ball is missing right at the moment, but right down here, that's a good sized skunk caught in my 120 right there, or 220 right there. So I did mention I kind of hoped if I was going to catch one that it'd be in conibears. So yeah, almost looks like there's fresh mud right here on top of this little hump of grass. But anyway, we'll get this skunk out of here. All right, we're only a couple sets past the last one where I just had the raccoon caught. Right here, there is a skunk. So again, just this dry drainage ditch. It goes across the road and then runs down there. Yeah, just a dog proof setting right here in the middle of this drainage. So again, I'm running out of daylight and I want to get one beaver set put in. So we're going to quickly get this guy dispatched and we'll be on our way. But yeah, there's a skunk right here in the dog proof. Well, frankly, I wondered how long it was going to take before the landline finally produced something. And then in this yard, it's been slow for a while. So, you know, I don't know, 4 or 5 checks. So again, we got the house up there. We got a conifer bear right here with a skunk in there. Dog proof. The mice or rats have been leaving me alone-ish. It's been about 1 a day, average probably maybe 1.5 a day. The caps are pulled off of the 3 dog proofs, but yeah, so we got ourselves a skunk, a little guy going into this building over here again. Nice that he's caught in a conifer bear on a day like today. Like I said, he's already dispatched. I just got to take him out of the trap and get it reset. So we're not going to grab it with my bare hands here. We'll get gloves on, but inside this chicken coop again. The house is over this way. There's a granary over here. I've showed you this set a couple times. So it's just a blind set coming in the back of this little chicken coop here. I don't know. I'm on the wrong end of him. He's right here. There's a skunk again caught in this set. 3rd time now I've had a skunk caught in here. I think he's tangled up. I don't think he can get too far. But yeah, I'm kind of on the business end of him, but he's right here. The funny thing is, again, there's like no trail going out the back of this building or anything like that. So I don't know if one smells the other ones that were already caught here or what really is happening here, but 3 now in the same set. I got this abandoned yard. I had a big coyote got out on the back corner of this grove, and maybe yesterday, day before. It all just blends together a couple days within the last couple days, and then I had a raccoon early on out there. But I noticed there's a cornfield on this side of the road, and I noticed there's a trail right here, and then over this way someplace, yeah, right here. There's a trail right here goes into these trees, and they're like, this is a nice dead or was a hollow tree. I kind of looked at these cottonwood trees. This tree right here, this bigger one, or this one here, this smaller of these two, I guess. This tree right here, about 3 foot up, it's got a hole like perfect size, 6 inches, 8 inches in diameter in that tree that the raccoons look like they've been going in and out of. So I put a dog proof right here. It's obviously, I mean, I'm 20 feet from the road, but I don't have a raccoon in there. This is a skunk right here in my dog proof. So early on, the ball was knocked off like 3 days in a row, but I thought maybe squirrels, because, you know, there easily could be squirrels in these trees that made these little trails too. So I put a Z-cap on there, and that was the end of them messing with it. But yeah, that's a skunk. He's right here in my trap. Well, silly me thinking I was going to get through the entire line without this happening. I'm down to, this is the 3rd to the last trap, so 2 traps after this. And there he is. There is a skunk right here in my trap. Just got a dog proof. A drainage just goes across this chunk of CRP. It goes across the road and then down this way. I had a skunk caught here 3 days ago, something like that, a real big skunk. This one doesn't look real big, but either way, like I said, it's kind of close quarters when you get down in there, so I don't want to film down in there, but yeah, so he's right here. I'm trying to get so I can see. Yeah, he's right here in my dog proof. Doesn't really have much for stripes the way it looks, or either that he's just super dirty, but he don't look real dirty. He just doesn't look like he's got much for stripes, but all right. Yeah. Like I said, he's right here. We'll go get down in there, see if we can get him dispatched without him spraying me. And Well, all right, guys. We're to this abandoned skunk yard. Abandoned farmyard. Ugh. We got ourselves a stinker right here, caught in this 160 again, where it looked like they're going in and out from underneath this old greenery here. I'm pretty sure this is like this 8th skunk out of this yard, or 7th skunk out of the yard here itself this year. And then I caught one in a coyote set back there, I don't know, week and a half ago. So, but yeah, we'll get that guy out of there. He's right here. There's a skunk caught in that 160 coming out from underneath there, but they can go in over here too. So just didn't have a good spot over there for a conibear. So, all right, we'll get him out of here. Keep on moving. Well, was kind of hoping or figuring that I got this place cleaned out, but apparently not, because yesterday I had a skunk over here by this building here, caught in the 160. But today back here I got my double 220 box, and there's a skunk laying right here. So caught another one back here. It's either 8 or 9 just out of the yard here. And then back in my coyote that's back down here by that slough, I got one more. So all right, we'll get him out of here. First land catch of the day at least. Well, I don't know about at least, but first land catch of the day. Well, that didn't take long. Got to basically, well, not even basically, got to the first spot, and we got a catch here. We got old road that's grown over with trees, obviously the crop change. I had a coyote set right up over here, actually, but we'll get down here. So again, it's trees to the north, and there's this big tree line runs to the south. See, like right here, you could see somebody drove right down. These tracks weren't here the other day. I just noticed them right now. So who knows when they drove by here, but right over there in my coyote set, that's not a coyote. You can see I'm wearing plastic gloves. I got a little skunk. It don't look very big. Looks like he's got decent white stripes on him if he'd turn around. But I got a skunk. He's right here. Well, it could be just one of those days. I am literally to the very next set. Same thing. I am downwind of him right now, which I don't like. He was sleeping, but there is a skunk right here in my coyote trap. Probably could get a little closer. That other one was a little gun happy. He squirted at me once while I was trying to get him dispatched. He was caught by one front foot and one back foot, so every time he tried to pull away from me, the trap automatically turned him around backwards, pointing right at me. So had a little trouble getting him dispatched, but I got him out of there. The set pulled. Again, we're literally to the very next set, and we got ourselves a second skunk here. Sure hope this is not how the day is gonna go. I got too much chance of rain and too much to do today to be screwing around taking skunks out of every coyote trap. So, because I'm literally 3 sets in, and I got a set off trap and 2 skunks. And I already know that I have a raccoon basically a mile and a half down the road where I deer hunt this morning. I got a raccoon. So, all right, again, we don't got a lot of time to fiddle around, so we'll get this guy out of there. This one I'm gonna remake. Yeah, it's what there is. There's a big draw system back here. I haven't really explained that. There's a big draw, goes right through here. There's an excavator here where they've been digging it out, and it goes up for miles off this way. And then just a fence line. This is the quarter line or whatever. This set's produced me some coyotes over the years, some fox over the years, but it's been slow the last couple years. I think it's been just a couple skunks over the last like 3 years. And I hate to say it, but I almost think this idiot he's caught by a back leg too. So the trouble is, whenever they try to pull away from you, it aims him backwards. So he's pointing the trigger right at you. So makes it very interesting to get him dispatched without him getting you. So got the drainage ditch runs this way. It runs up over to this tree line over here. Obviously a pretty heavy tree line. And then it runs across this way along the edge of this alfalfa field up towards where this house is, and then it ends up over here, like in the end of these trees here. So it's kind of a travel corridor this way. We got a farm lane road here. Again, we got maybe 150 yards over to the tree line over there. I got one coyote set on that side of this bridge. I got a coyote set on this side. This set was messed with. I remade it, had a fox, had a raccoon pull out of it, and now I got a skunk in there. And he has got himself like a hole dug back there. So he is like hiding. Oh, there he is. I'm not gonna lie, I thought he was facing the other way. So yeah, we got ourselves a skunk out here. Heaven forbid I make it through one day on the line without catching a stinking skunk, but apparently that's not possible. Got him back foot caught the way it looks, which is never ideal, but almost always how it happens in a coyote set, it seems like. I was thinking about that the other day too, because like I said, this is not, it happens almost every time on a skunk catch in a coyote set. I had two yesterday morning. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday morning, the two first catches I had, both back foot caught skunks in there. So anyway, we'll get this guy out of here and we made ourselves a land catch here in a coyote set, but it's not a coyote. We're gonna get out here quick and show you. I'm not sure how riled up he's gonna be since he's out in the wide open in the wind. Generally, that means they're pretty hair trigger. They don't like to be out in the wind, is my experience. So we'll get out and show you what we got here. All right, so what we got a farm place right up here, a slough, and then going down this way, it's a fence line all the way up to this house. And then once it gets to that house, there's basically a big wildlife, like where all these trees are over here, and behind this house is a giant wildlife over there. So seems like a perfect place for a coyote to be running. I did catch one coyote here, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 days ago in this set. It hadn't been messed with until then, but today we don't have a coyote. We got ourselves a pretty darn big skunk the way it looks. I haven't been able to figure out if he's front foot or back foot caught yet. And makes no difference to you, but it makes a difference to me how I get him dispatched. So yeah, nice big skunk here. Again, thought maybe a guy would make it all the way through the line without a land catch today, but apparently that didn't happen. And of course, couldn't make it through the line without catching a skunk. That just wouldn't be right. So I think one day this entire year I did not catch a skunk. So yeah, so again, dirt hole set right here on the end of these weeds. This field was still standing corn when I caught that coyote. They just worked it up like 2 days ago or so. So if anything, I almost feel like that makes this side of it better, or makes this whole set better than what it was than having a wide open cornfield. The animals still run anywhere they want, but I feel like they're going to want to hug this fence line now more so than run anywhere they want out on that cornfield. So, all right. He's pretty chill, so I have high hopes that this is going to go easy. So all right, guys, so I want you to put your comments down below what your thoughts are on this. So you have a skunked day. So if you go around the whole line and you don't make any catches, you get skunked. Or if you go duck hunting and you don't get anything, you get skunked. That's a term we always use in our area here. But if you catch a skunk as the only thing you catch that day, is that getting skunked as well? I don't know. So that's a brain teaser for the day for you. So I'm in this skunk yard. I've caught, I think, 4 over by that building. I've caught a couple raccoons behind this building and some rats around here. Early on, I think, or maybe even the first catch, I had a skunk right here in this 160. And then over this way, I have a double 220 box, so 220 on each end with bait in the middle. And I'm not gonna get real close there, but right here there's a skunk and a 220. So looks like he's all wet because again it's been raining all day. So, but first catch of the day, land catch of the day, we got ourselves a skunk in the skunk yard. I have nothing else, but we got our own name for this place, as I do for all the places that I trap. You know, we got nicknames for them all or whatever, but this one is quickly earning the skunk place, because I think I had 7 or 8 out of this yard, just the yard last year alone. And then I think I caught one in a coyote set back here to make 8 out of this place last year. I think that's number 8 in this yard. 4, it might even be 9 out of the yard here. Because like I said, I got 4 over there, 1 here, and that might be the 5th one or 4th one out of that set. So that might be 9 in the yard here. And I caught one in a coyote set back here by that swoosh. So just cleaning up on the skunks out of this yard. I think that's 31 now for the year I've got. And so roughly a third of them have all been out of this one place. So for the 2nd year in a row. Well, all right, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed all those clips. Again, these are sort of interesting videos for me to put together. Hope you guys enjoy watching them. Leave your comments down below one way or the other. If you want to see more stuff, less stuff, more of these type of videos, less of these type of videos. The only way I know what you guys want is by you guys leaving comments down below and kind of telling me and guiding me. I'm willing to show you anything and everything I'm doing out on my lines. So, but the only thing I'm not going to tell you is the actual spot. You know, I'm not going to give you map coordinates to where my sets are at. So with that said, again, leave comments down below if you like these videos. You know, I like putting them together. To me, that's interesting to put all the catches together in one video here, instead of, you know, you kind of lose track of, you know, what catches you have, especially on, you know, some of the days when I got 50 muskrats caught and other things. It's kind of easy to lose or skip over the other catches I'm making during those same videos. So, all right, with that said, we'll see you on the next Schmattz Outdoors video.